Hello everybody, this is Graeme Anderson, and today I'm going to be looking at Fox and the Forest Duet. This is a sequel to the game The Fox and the Forest. Now both games are trick-taking games, but they're only for 2 players. In the original game, it was competitive. In this version, it's a co-op version where you're trying to work together so the right player can win the right trick at the right time so he can clear the board of the gems. And of course, there is minimal to no talking. Now the original game was one that I really enjoyed, and it was one of my go-to games for 2 players. So how did this one stack up? Let's get it to the table, see how it's played, then I'll come back for my final thoughts on the Fox and the Forest Duet. Here is Fox and the Forest Duet set up. Now it's a 2-player only cooperative trick-taking game. The forest board goes in between 2 players, then place 12 gem tokens on the squares based on the number of hanging squares in each one, either 0, 1, or 2. The team tracker goes on the starting space, which is marked with a 0, and place the forest tokens off to one side. Shuffle the deck of cards and deal out 11 cards to each player. Then turn over the top card. This is called the decree card and will set trump for the round. The goal of the game is, before 3 rounds is up, is to collect all the gem tokens off of the main forest board. Each of the cards in the deck will have a number of movement points located besides the numbers. The winner of the trick will move the team tracker the number of movement spaces towards them and, if there is a gem on that space, remove one of the gems. If you've never played a trick-taking game before, a trick is one turn of both players playing a single card. Whomever is leading the round, and if it's the first trick of the round, the dealer will start, and they will play a single card. They can play any card in their hand, and the other player must play the same suit. If the other player does not have any of the played suit, they can play any card from their hand. If they play a card that matches the trump suit, it will beat any non-trump suit cards that were played. Once both players have played one card, determine who won the trick. If no trump suit was played, then whichever player played the highest card of the suit that was led is the winner of the trick. If a trump suit card was played, then the highest trump card wins. Whichever player wins the trick, they will look at the movement points on the 2 cards and add them, and they will move the team tracker that many spaces towards them. If it ever goes off the end of the board due to this movement, reset the team tracker back to the starting place and place one of the forest tokens on the end of the track that the tracker fell off. This effectively makes the path shorter. If a forest token covers a space with gem tokens, move the gem tokens one space closer to the center of the board. Once the trick is over, discard the cards face down and the winner of the previous trick will start the next one. Now, as with the original Fox and the Forest game, each of the odd-numbered cards will give the group a special ability. If a 1 was played, the winner of the trick can move the team tracker in either direction. If a 3 was played, and as soon as it is played, the player will pick one of the players to have a choice to change the decree card. They will take a card out of their hand and swap it with a decree card. That decree card comes into effect as soon as it is played and could change what the trump is. The 5 allows the winner of the trick to ignore one of the movement values from one of the played cards. The 7 means that as soon as the 7 is played, both players will exchange a card from their hand with the other player. If a 9 is played first, it allows the other player to play any card from their hand. They do not need to follow suit. If it is played as the second card, nothing happens. The round will end once everybody has played all of their cards, and at the end of the first and second round you're going to do the following. You're going to be adding gem tokens to all spaces with a plus sign on them. Then place a forest token so that it covers the last space on one of the 2 tracks, and it's the player's choice. But if the team tracker is in the last spot on one of the track, then the forest token must be placed to cover the other end of the track. If it covers a spot with the gem tokens, move them one space closer to the center. Finally, take all 30 cards and shuffle them, and the player who did not deal the previous round now deals out 11 new cards and start the next round. The game ends immediately in one of 3 ways. If you collect all the gems from the board, the game ends in victory. You'll score points based on the difficulty level played, cards left in your hand, for each forest token not used, and a bonus if you won in the second round and not the third round. You can lose the game if you need to place a forest token after the team token goes off the end of the board and you have run out of the forest tokens. And finally, you can lose if there are gem tokens left on the board at the end of the third round. One final set of rules is the communication rules. You are not allowed to talk about the cards in your hand, you're not allowed to ask any revealing questions, all the special abilities are detailed in the rules, and finally, you are not allowed to discuss strategy. So that's how you play, so let's get back to see what I thought about the Fox and the Forest Duet. So we start with theme and components. There is a theme about a missing musician who has been kidnapped by the forest fairies, and the woodcutter and apprentice go find him, and the woodland creatures appear to help the couple. At least that's what I think the theme is. The components are few and of decent quality. Now, I do wish the cardstock was a little better, Although my cards are still alright, I'm worried about their longevity. Now the board is double-sided, and that will allow you to change the difficulty. But as you can see, it's a small board, but it does make it extremely portable. The whole game is extremely portable. The art on the cards is nice, and I do like that they are different. So for example, the number 5 cards, the gazelle cards, each gazelle is different, and I like that. It's a nice little touch, but all in all, the quality is decent all around. So on to the gameplay. As you saw from the overview, it's not overly complex. It's all about working with your partner to collect all those gems. The communication rules are what set this game up to be a more difficult challenge. I do like that they've also included reference cards in there for each player. We'll show you what happens at the end of the round and all the special abilities and movement points for each card. So there should be nothing you need to ask rules-wise, which will give away what you have in your hand. Now, like many trick-taking games, especially ones where you are partnered, it's all about what and when you play your cards. You are trying to convey information with what you play. Now, this aspect of trick-taking games is really my favorite aspect of the one, especially with the partnerships. If I lead this card, this is what I'm probably trying to say. And if you play that card in response, then this is the way I'm going to be interpreting those clues. But without talking about strategies or cards during the game, you're relying on your partner to pick up on the clues based on the played cards. But sometimes you just have to play the card in your hand because it's the only one you have in that suit. But hopefully you've both been watching what is being played, and even that forced choice will give some clues to your partner. Now, one rule I didn't mention in the walkthrough was the fact that once the cards are discarded after a trick, you're not allowed to look at them again. You need to be keeping track of what has been played. But of course, it's not a perfect information game, as not all the cards are dealt out at the beginning of the round, so you can't basically count cards. Now, the forest creatures are critical as well, and that's kind of what sets this game apart from a standard trick-taking game. Using the ones to move in the opposite direction or not use one of the cards' movement is important. The change in the decree card can really help you out in a bind if you need one of you to start winning more tricks, as it allows that person to change the trump suit to what they have the most of. Now, all these special ability cards are extremely useful at certain points of the round. I do like that there is a changing difficulty. The more difficult it is, you start with more gems and fewer forest tokens. But I never felt the game was unwinnable. Usually in the third round, a mistake or two was made, and you kind of feel like you were, that close to winning the game. Now, I really enjoy trick-taking games, so I enjoyed the first Fox in the Forest game where it was competitive. So do you need both? I do think this one is different enough that it gives you a different feel. Now, I do prefer the first one though, but that's just me, and I think I like the competitive version slightly more. So would I recommend this game? If you already enjoy Fox in the Forest and are looking for something a little different, then definitely get this one. Now, if you enjoy partnership trick-taking games, you've never played Fox in the Forest, I would say give this one a try as well. But if you don't like trick-taking games, I don't think the cooperative nature of this game overcomes the basic trick-taking enough to recommend it in that situation. But still, this is a game that, although I didn't like it as much as the original, is one I would definitely recommend. And that's it for the moment. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando, in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.